Have you ever been an accidental peeping Tom? No, shit, wait, fuck, let me explain. Damn it, cancelled already. I was so close. What I mean is, have you ever been like walking and then you've glanced at someone's house or garden, and then as you sort of move your eye line around, taking things in, you realize that someone's in the house looking at you, looking at them? This movie is basically an entire movie that explores who's in the wrong in that situation. Watcher takes place in Bucharest, Romania, where retired actor Julia has moved from America so that her husband Francis can what seems like work an absolute fuck ton of overtime as a marketing executive of some sort. As Julia tries to avoid the isolation that she's obviously feeling from making such a big change, moving to a country where she doesn't speak the language and she doesn't know anyone, she realizes that in the window of the apartment block across from her, there is a man there that has taken to watching her. And from there, what we sort of get is a standoff of two people watchers who seem to have a lot of time on their hands. Which, okay, it's a little bit more sinister than that, but that's the vibe. This movie is a slow social thriller. It's all around the etiquette of people watching, and at what point is someone in the wrong? Like, at what point does that turn sinister? If you think about it, if I notice someone staring at me all the time, it means that at some point I've had to be looking at them as well. What do you do in that situation? Like, at what point is it considered out of hand? And do you ignore them? Do you call the cops? Do you hit them with a flying knee that I've been working on? Realistically, the only thing they've actually done is stare at me. They haven't come into my space. They haven't verbally threatened me. They haven't really done anything to me. They haven't put me in immediate danger, but it's still an imposition on your body's real estate. They're doing something to me. I just don't know what, and I don't like it. That's the feeling. This movie captures that feeling really well. There is a scene in this movie where someone sits directly behind Julia in a completely empty movie theater, which they're allowed to do. But it's so creepy, and it just made me realize how fortunate I am that as a man, I don't have to constantly think about leaving myself open to attack. I held my breath for the entire sequence, and I didn't even notice I was doing it until it was over. And director Chloe Okono does a masterful job at making you feel vulnerable when Julia's feeling vulnerable. Guys, we've got to talk about listening to your partner too. I'm stunned at how many movies I've watched where something fucked up is happening to a poor woman and their partner just keeps saying, babe, I think you're overreacting. If my missus was being stalked, especially if we're in a new country, and especially if I was working constantly, I would take that pretty fucking seriously. Even if I didn't see it. I don't know what the dude is thinking in this movie. Like, sometimes I just want a movie where the guy actually likes his wife. Is that too much to ask? At the start of this movie, they seem to have a really cute relationship, and I really like them both. But as soon as he has to do anything remotely supportive, he turns into like a comedian from the 80s. He's got like this real like, oh, I fucking hate my wife shit going on, and it's weird. I don't get it. Side note, she buys him the cutest Dracula figure of all time in this. It's so cute. I might have to Google and see if I can get my hands on one. How are you not believing someone who buys you horror figurines? It blows my mind. My loyalty can be bought so cheaply and easily. A character who is supportive and is probably my favorite character in this is Julia's neighbor. She's this amazing, supportive ex-ballet dancer. She's not scared to shoo someone away with the barrel of a gun if shit starts getting weird, and that's who you want. Maybe that should have been wife material. I don't know, but she's awesome. Micah Monroe plays Julia in this, and she plays her really realistically, even if the character at some points I found put herself in infuriatingly risky scenarios, which I guess is to be expected if you're if you feel like you're being harassed, you might make some really odd calls. Micah was also in the masterpiece It Follows, so I guess she just excels at doing any role that requires being stalked. In this movie, the cinematography is really good. There's a lot of open window shots, and it really hammers home the isolation that Julia's feeling. Weirdly, though, this movie makes me want to go to Romania more, not less. I don't know why. Maybe I'm fucked up. This movie is one of the rare cases where the plot ends up exactly where I wanted it to go, which sounds a little narcissistic now that I say it out loud, but I can't help it if I have good movie ideas, okay? Maybe I'm a genius, just let me have it. And if this movie teaches you anything, it's that men are perfect and that their fragile masculinity should be protected at all costs. At least I think it is. Maybe I fucked up the movie there. I recommend watching this if you love movies like that are in this sort of vein. The Gift, Sleep Tight's a really fucked up one that does this as well. Gentlemen, if you want a window into some of the distressing everyday situations we don't have to deal with because we just happen to have a Y chromosome, this will give you that just a touch of a look. I don't recommend watching this if you've been stalked or stalking's a trigger for you. This is a whole movie about that idea, so don't go in. If you hate slow burns, this movie is not for you. It's a slow burn. It's a social etiquette slow burn. It does pick up a bit at the end, but it is a slow burn. Watcher, not The Watcher, by the way, not the Netflix series. There's a lot of movies out there called The Watcher. Just Watcher from 2022. It's a solid psychological thriller. It will worm its way into the back of your brain, and I think it's going to rear its ugly head next time I find myself mindlessly people watching. But I really liked it. I liked it a lot. So if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know if you liked where the ending ended up, because I know some people online seem to have an issue with it. I thought it was fucking great. And as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow for another review. Peace.